What better way to start a new stage of your life than by taking on a mountain adventure? Diana's lifetime wish was to climb one of the tallest mountains in Romania and reach Omu Peak. And after finally graduating high school, she knew it was time to make her dream come true. Unfortunately, the universe had other plans for her. Hit like and subscribe. This is Fierce. Diana Maria Cazacu was only 19 when she came face to face with a brown bear. Originally from Iași, Romania, she moved to Bucharest to live with her mother after her parents' divorce. A few weeks ago, in mid-June, Diana graduated from high school, and right at the beginning of July, she had to take the national final exam. She passed with flying colors as expected of her. Diana was a good student, and her entire family was proud of her. The next natural step was applying to college, but until then, she had a couple of weeks to relax a bit. Aside from her career goals, Diana had a lot of hobbies, including photography and hiking. She and her boyfriend took advantage of every opportunity to go and explore the serene Romanian mountains. One of her biggest goals was to reach Omu Peak, the highest point in the Bucegi Mountains and the sixth highest peak in Romania. Situated at 2,514 meters above sea level, the top of Omu Peak is rather flat, and it houses a cabin which many hikers use as a refuge, as well as a weather station. In fact, Omu Peak is the highest permanently populated spot in Romania. But Diana was still a beginner. Sure, she successfully finished a few easy hiking trails up until that point, but she wasn't an expert at all, and the trail to Omu Peak is quite dangerous, even for locals. On July 9th, early in the morning, Diana and her boyfriend took the train from Bucharest to Bușteni. They arrived at about 10 a.m., had some breakfast, and headed toward the trail's starting point. Around 10:45 a.m., Diana talked to her mom, their last conversation ever. Her mother's intuition was telling her something was off. She warned her daughter to come back home, but the 19-year-old wouldn't change her mind. "You've kept me sheltered all this time. Now it's time for me to experience amazing things," she told her mother. But her mother had a very good reason to be worried about Diana. One time when she was hiking with a friend, another bear chased her. Nothing could have stopped her. She felt like she had to prove herself somehow, and reaching that peak was the only way. Every summer, the brown bear population descends into the villages and towns nestled at the base of the mountains in search of food. This has become a huge problem in recent years because of tourists' fascination with these animals. People often stop their cars in the middle of the road to feed bears and take pictures with them. Having food condition these animals, it wasn't a surprise that a bear walked the same trail as Diana that fateful day. Driven by its instincts and incredible hunger, the beast saw in Diana its next delicious meal. The couple started their ascent and made their way through Valea Jepilor. The steep, narrow path was a true challenge, but the scenery was so beautiful that it was worth it. To the right was the way to Foamy Valley Waterfall, and to their left was Howling Waterfall. Here is where things get blurry. A witness's account, who actually was at Foamy Valley Waterfall that day, seems to point out that Diana and her boyfriend headed towards Foamy Valley, but were still quite far from the waterfall, while some media outlets say they headed toward Howling Waterfall. Like this case, Karaman is also clouded in mystery. Every year, hikers go missing or fall to their deaths on this trail, which prompted the locals to believe in a legend. They say that during the summer, a mysterious off-the-maps trail shows up out of nowhere, surrounded by dense fog, and whoever chooses to hike it either dies in mysterious ways or comes back dizzy, confused, and deeply injured. It's not clear whether Diana saw this path or not, but the series of events that unfolded next seems to point out that she was separated from her boyfriend, alone, face to face with a brown bear. As she was walking on the steep, rocky path, the 19-year-old noticed something moving a few meters in front of her. Unsure of what to do, she stopped and tried to stand as still as possible. She looked over her shoulder for her boyfriend, but he was way behind her. Listening to her instincts, she called 112, the equivalent to 911 in Romania, to announce the possible presence of a bear. This was happening around 1:30 to 2 p.m. On another trail near Foamy Valley, the only witness to this case beside Diana's boyfriend was also calling 112 to announce a bear's presence. The 112 operator quickly answered, and Diana described where she was and what she saw. The operator gave her some tips on how to act if the bear came nearer. Not having any bear spray or something to make noise with and scare the bear away, Diana had to resort to stomping, speaking loudly, and making herself look bigger. A few moments later, the bear looked directly at her. Diana let out a scream while still on the phone with the 112 operator. "He's coming closer. The bear is running toward me," she yelled. The operator reminded her to make noise and scare the bear, but Diana was too terrified to think. Her boyfriend told the authorities he also tried to scare the bear or misdirect his attention, but the witness said she could only hear Diana's voice. It's possible that her boyfriend got scared and ran away, leaving her all alone to face the hungry 300-kilogram beast. It's also possible he simply froze from fear and panic while watching his girlfriend die. With astounding speed, the bear ran toward Diana, ready to attack her. Diana screamed, her voice echoing in the forest, and in a desperate judgment error, she decided to run, a grave mistake. The bear lunged at the girl and grabbed her legs with its sharp claws, throwing her to the ground. Still screaming and on the phone with the operator, Diana fought bravely, trying to get out of the bear's grasp. Unfortunately, she didn't stand a chance. The bear dragged Diana toward a ledge while still clawing her, ripping her clothes and leaving behind bloody, deep scratches. Her screams, which up until then filled the forest, stopped abruptly. Almost 2 hours after the attack, rescuers finally descended to retrieve Diana's body. The snarling bear was still circling her and going back from time to time to feast some more. When the animal saw the rescuers, it became agitated and aggressive. Fearing for their lives as well, they shot it dead. When describing what they saw, the rescuers told the media outlets that Diana's injuries were impossible to survive. She probably died from the fall, but the bear feasted on her until they arrived 2 hours later, so you can imagine how horrifying she must have looked. President of Salvamont, Romania, the country's mountain rescue services, Sabine Cornorio, believed the bear must have been suffering from rabies, and that was the reason it attacked Diana, while others believe she lost her balance and fell into the abyss, and the bear simply followed her down. There's still a lot of confusion surrounding Diana's death, but one thing is for sure. Never walk into bear territory unprepared. Always carry bear spray with you, just in case. Also remember, if a black bear charges at you, fight back. But if a brown bear attacks you, play dead.